Kyoya was a broke loser accountant with a dream of becoming a game developer. However, his life takes a detour when he's sent to the past to assist his dream art college to accomplish his aspirations. However, when he learns that he would be sharing dorms with his favorite musician, he decides to begin clapping her instead. Kyoya spends his adult life reading his favorite artist mangas, hoping for a profession in gaming or the arts. As time passed, he reflected about his decision to pursue business or art school 10 years earlier. Despite his desire to be a game developer, he picked business school due to self-doubt. He now wonders if he would have chosen art college instead. He slips off to sleep with disturbing dreams about the past. The next day, he wakes up to his sister's words and notices her youthful appearance. She unexpectedly congratulates him on his admission to art college, leaving him perplexed. He looks around and notices that his room appears precisely like it did a decade ago. He checks the calendar and finds a date from 10 years ago, which surprises him. He accepts his situation and views it as a blessing from God. He resolves to improve his life by enrolling in art school rather than business school. Later that day, he settles into his new room and reflects on his favorite artists, including Akishimino. Since he is the same age as his favorite creators, they should be near the school. I hope this is an opportunity for him to work with them. The next morning, he awakens to discover a girl sleeping next to him. He is startled and leaps back, startling her up. He is taken aback by the weight of the plot she is holding and wonders how this 10 out of 10 baddie ended up in his room. She grabs his milk and chugs it down without saying anything, as if she hadn't had a drink in days. She unexpectedly stumbles and falls on Kyoya. Her roommates discover a compromising incident and introduce her as Shino, their new housemate. Nanako and Roku, the other housemates, join them for breakfast. As they eat together, the group discusses college life and decides how to split domestic tasks. Upon arrival at college, students discover that orientation has already begun. Kyoya promptly takes a seat next to Hakuwa, who engages in a chat about sports. The conversation is interrupted when the host presents Kana, a fiery redhead, and the associate professor. Later in class, Kyoya spots a familiar red-haired girl unintentionally dropping her ID. When he returns the item to her, he recognizes her face and recalls seeing a red-haired girl on a bridge on his way home. He decides to help her, like any white knight guy would. Kyoya apologizes for believing she was about to end herself and introduces herself as Kawaz, the head of a game firm wanting to hire someone new. They then sit and drink together. He enthusiastically offered to work as an intern. The next day, he sees her at her office for a formal introduction and is immediately assigned to work. Despite Kyoya's hard work and appreciation, the project he was involved in failed, leading to the company's closure and his termination. Back in the past, he discovers that she is the same woman who will be his boss at the game firm in 10 years. His heart is racing. Platinum Era, a group of great inventors he idolizes, must also attend this college if she's present. For the first time in his life, he feels hopeful as he can learn alongside those he always admired from afar. Kyoya has been working in the filming studio for 2 weeks, enduring tedious lectures and long hours with seniors who take things too seriously or too lightly. During class, the loser frequently looks at the girls and wonders what they're doing. Kawaz was the only one making an effort in the industry, while others were unconcerned. Suddenly, the teacher turns around and starts asking questions. Right on cue, Kawaz raises her hand to respond. He looks at her in surprise as she replies correctly and refers the remaining question to Roku, who is sleeping peacefully. The teacher is intrigued and prompts Roku, who may be dreaming of tacos, to respond. Despite barely paying attention, he successfully answers the question with a glance at the chalkboard. The class is astonished, and it's clear that Kawaz and Raku will fight for first place. After class, Koya and the team discuss what transpired. Nanako pokes fun at Raku for his previous performance, but he dismisses it. Meanwhile, Koya sits and wonders why. Despite having 10 years of experience, he still feels like a fraud with the camera. He is keenly aware that experience alone is meaningless if it is not combined with talent or expertise. Shino's creepy look at the mental burial nearly causes him to drop his coffee. Hikawa arrives dressed in an unusual anime character attire. The costume is necessary for a club called Njutsu, and the speaker suggests exploring other options. As they walk around campus, two females wave at them from a balcony and sing in unison if they are new students. They quickly find themselves at a raucous welcome party for newcomers. Shino falls asleep and decides to carry Kiowa home instead of waking her up. Despite being flustered, she clings to him like a newborn koala. As they travel under the faint streetlights, he admits to feeling useless, especially after seeing Roku's flawless answers in class. She encourages him to use his talents in other areas, such as cooking, cleaning, and laundry. Essentially, all skills necessary for a stay-at-home father. Despite the roast, this brightens him immensely, and the two cheerfully return home to discover no one else present. Shino yawns and says she's going to bed, but her energy seems odd. Curious, he follows her and peeks through the open door, only to be surprised to discover her creating the cover of his favorite manga. He realizes she is his favorite artist. Shino gets into a battle with Roku the next day for consuming her meal without permission. He offers her another pack of instant noodles as an apology, but she rejects, insisting on the exact brand and flavor she had before. Kyoya, emotionally detached from the drama, sips his coffee silently, wondering whether this is what college life will be like. Nanako scolds Roku for eating someone else's meal without permission, lecturing him on civility, which is ironic given her own indecent behavior. When Kiowa points this out, she becomes embarrassed and flees to her room, pushing him aside. Kano instructs students on filmmaking basics and assigns them to create a 3-minute short video in groups of 4. After class, Roku and Kiowa play baseball in the yard and decide to form a team with Shino and Nanako. After all, they already reside under the same roof. During Kyoya's part-time employment at a convenience store, he notices Nanako scanning snacks with ease. She meets him and says how the store owner gave them strange glances for using the same address on their applications. As they pack the shelves, he asks her why she joined this college. She shrugs, stating she was bored at her previous place and wanted to try something new. The next day, Kiowa gives Kana a progress report and promises to provide the script shortly. When she asks if he's had any recent intriguing experiences, he immediately recalls the unintentional peep show Nanako gave him, leading to a hormonal daydream. When he realizes he is about to expose himself, he returns to reality and flees before she can question him further. When he arrives home that day, he notices Shino lying face down on the table and inquires about her well-being. She wakes up with a tired smile and tells him she had a dream about eating a mound of oysters. He smiles at her and asks why she chose this college. She tells that she wasn't excellent at academics and wanted to uncover her strengths. She recalls growing up in a rural region where she had to wait more than 30 minutes to catch a train. After hearing this, he becomes inspired and suggests using the country station scene to show a girl's life in the film. When he informs everyone about his proposal, everyone is excited except for Roku, who merely nods and heads back to his room to think about it. He returns with a sheet of paper and explains that he wrote the plot based on Kyoya's idea. The crew is impressed with how well it was written in just a few minutes. But before they begin the project, he pulls Kyoya aside and requests a private conversation. He shows him a paper he wrote earlier that morning, and as Kyoya reads it, he is surprised to see that it is strikingly similar to the plot he just suggested. He claims he did not plagiarize, and Roku believes him. However, he expresses displeasure that someone took his views. He attempts to grasp the strange coincidence and recalls reading a book with a similar narrative, likely inspired by Roku's story and written by him later. Roku jokes about his long silence and wonders if he's hiding something, but quickly dismisses the thought as absurd. Kyoya, while feeling guilty, mute, and sweating, participates in the story and even offers to assist with editing. The team then gets to work, devoting all of their attention to creating the video. The next day, they go to a cafe to discuss this, and Kyoya raises an important point. Although Roku's script is amazing, it exceeds the 3-minute time limit and should be trimmed. Roku, being Roku, refuses to modify a single word and instead instructs the females to speak quicker to fit under time constraints. Kyoya worries about missing the deadline and being disqualified. He tells this to Roku, who becomes upset and goes away. However, he reluctantly agrees to make modifications despite his displeasure. As the party exits the cafe, an unknown guy falls at Monaco's feet like a drama audition, spewing rubbish about her beauty and a suspiciously sad past. He then somehow convinces them to visit and the store is abandoned. Kyoya is going to contact the cops when two more men appear, saying salvation has arrived. The mysterious person is Takashi, the president of a failed college organization with no members and no funds. He and the others admit to orchestrating the entire melodrama solely to pitch their story. Nanako and Shino decide to join their useless club. As the group celebrates, Takashi proudly tosses them a flyer, his face lit up as if he had just received funding for his Netflix pilot. While working at the train station, Kyoya encounters Kawas, who questions him about their filming location. When he confirms that it is centered on the station, she states that she will not lose to him. After a strange encounter, he meets with Kana to give the newest report. To his astonishment, she brings up a dispute among their team. He initially denies it, but eventually concedes the reality. She gives him a movie script and explains why it failed despite winning accolades. Overambition was the reason for the tempo being off for so long. She explains that a good script does not guarantee a good picture. And as the producer, it is his responsibility to guarantee that everything runs smoothly. Kyoya has a sudden realization and rushes home, knocking on Roku's door. He advises Roku to prioritize teamwork before addressing time constraints. Despite their teamwork, calamity happens as they prepare to use Roku's borrowed camera. It's not a video camera, but rather a standard one. Shino panics, claiming it's too late to borrow another, and Kyoya sinks into despair, wondering if even a second shot at life is enough to escape the black hole of ill luck he's caught in. On the day of the assessment, the team is nervous about the outcome of their video due to Kyoya's last-minute modifications and lack of review time. Kana enters the stage and declares that the evaluation will now begin. The teacher reminds students that this is not simply an exam, but an important part of their curriculum. They should be prepared to accept comments like adults, not babies who are refused candy. In the rear of the room, Kawas proclaims that she will not lose to him. Kana summons Kyoya's crew, who are concerned that the last film, also set in a train station, could lead to negative comparisons between the two characters. The film begins to play, and the audience is surprised to discover that it is a compilation of static photographs rather than moving footage. The audience is unaware that Kyoya devised a plan to complete the video before the deadline after Roku's camera malfunctioned. He has previously used After Effects to create motion when recording was not possible. He even asked Takashi for assistance on stop-motion animation. To accurately replicate motion, approximately 100 images were required every shot, with spoken commentary added subsequently. Shino enthusiastically agrees to be responsible for image composition, which will visually connect everything. The team meticulously captured each frame, creating a 3-minute video depicting a girl's life from childhood to old age using still images. At the end of the video, Kawase and others clap loudly and cheer. Koya and his teammates are taken aback by the audience's positive response. They soon receive the results. Kawase's team won first place, while Koya's squad came in third, feeling like they had won an Oscar after a roller coaster of emotions. Kyoya apologizes for editing flaws, but Roku praises Kyoya's talent. Nanako also thanks him for rescuing the day and says she has to work on her acting skills. Kana grins and praises them as they dispute furiously, hinting to future initiatives. They leave the theater full of excitement. Later that day, Kawase confronts Kana and demands to know why Kyoya's team did not win first place. Kana calmly responds that their effort was certainly overly innovative, which usually indicates an accident. She tells Kawase she would work with Kyoya's team for the end-of-term assignment before mocking her, prompting her to flee in disgrace. She looks at their childhood photo and notices no significant changes. Kawa's was her younger sister. Meanwhile, Kyoya and Nanako conclude their shift at the convenience shop. Neko asks whether he is free as they step outdoors, tugging on his sleeve like an anime character about to proclaim love. She takes him to karaoke and Much to his surprise, she abandons her modest character to sing passionately. After finishing, she returns to her bashful side and invites him to join her for karaoke again sometime. He smiles slightly and advises that she put her singing videos online. She smiles nervously and dismisses the praise, insisting she is not good enough. The team celebrates a tiny miracle with Takashi and the other members of the Useless Club the following day. Their funding has really risen. Hayama, one of the newer members, introduces herself and shares her enthusiasm for ceramics. Shino walks softly beside Kyoya on his way home that night. She soon acknowledges her latent ability for drawing. Kyoya admits that she enjoys drawing, but does not believe she is talented enough to pursue it professionally. She selected filmmaking as a potentially safer option. Kyoya encourages her to believe in herself and pursue her passion, regardless of the outcome. After a few weeks, Kawas joins Kyora and the group on a beach excursion to brainstorm ideas for their next-generation task. They also seek inspiration from the sun. Upon there, she nonchalantly leans over and asks how he managed to keep the camera for 3 days, despite the fact that first-year students can only hire equipment for 1 day. Kyoya confesses to borrowing the camera from seniors in exchange for assistance with their assignments. She warns him that their actions violate the regulations. Just then, they hear someone agreeing with her. When Kyoya notices a tiny girl, he asks her where she is from and whether she is lost. The girl glares at him, then introduces herself as Tommy, their senior. The next day, while the students wait for their films to be screened in the auditorium, Kawas informs Kyoya that something feels off. After their film, a high-quality, dramatic, and emotionally engaging video from another team begins. The audience starts muttering. Many people said that the second video was significantly better than theirs. Koya and his colleagues are disappointed, fully expecting to fail. Kana unexpectedly names Kyoya's team as the first-place winner. The audience criticizes their team's poor performance compared to the opposing squad. Nanako meets Kana privately and expresses her dissatisfaction with her team's rating, citing superior acting by the opposing team. Kana calmly explains that acting alone does not make a film great, reminding her that cinema is an integrated art form. The next day, Kyoya gathers the team at a cafe to congratulate them on completing the project successfully. Neko begins singing as everyone enjoys their food and drinks. After her performance, the audience applauds enthusiastically. Nanako becomes bashful and tries to brush it off, but Kawas takes the microphone and reveals that she wants to be a singer rather than an actress. Nanako is surprised and asks how she knows. According to Kawase, Nanako's acting was decent, but felt hollow and overly clean. But when she sang, it was raw, authentic, and passionate. That is how she knew. Then Kawas accuses her of being terrified, of failing at something she actually loves. Nanako chose acting because others praised her talent, rather than because it was her passion. Nanako responds with enthusiasm, stating that she has always enjoyed singing as a child. However, being labeled as tone-deaf shattered her spirit. Kawas doesn't hold back, calling her a coward for not even attempting to improve. Nanako becomes upset and nearly slaps Koya, who intervenes just in time. She leaves the cafe in tears, followed by Kawas, leaving him wondering what will happen to their group. Later, Kaori attempts to speak with Neko alone, but she declines and leaves. He learns from others that she has been ignoring them and isolating herself. Raku accuses Kawase of being nosy, but Shino counters that Kawase is not malicious. She simply wants Nanako to follow her true path. Kyoya accepts and later meets Kawase, who appears more depressed as usual. She confesses she may have been harsh, but he tells her that Nanako needed to hear those words, even if they were difficult. Over coffee, she admits something surprising. She harbors jealousy towards Nanako. Jealous that she had such an apparent skill from a young age and still ignored it. He assures Nanako that he believes she would pursue her passion and not give up. After class, the photography club notifies him about the school ceremony. He approaches Takashi and learns that it is a 3-day event with over 8,000 kids participating. Hayama interrupts the speaker and accuses him of exploiting the event for personal advantage. He apologizes and agrees to refrain from speaking up when Kia learns that the college would rent a classroom for an annual art exhibition on the anniversary. When asked about this year, she beats Takashi and tells him that it won't happen due to the loser. He secretly proposed turning the exhibit room into a maid cafe. Hayama violently beats him after he cries about needing a pink-haired head. She questions how he'll find enough volunteers for the cafe, let alone someone with pink hair. Kiyoya recalls Tommy, the young girl with pink hair, and as he opens his mouth, she comes next to him like a fantasy anime figure. They make small chat while Takashi fantasizes about pink hair. Tommy explains that she is seeking Kyoa's assistance with a game project and hopes to have him as the director. He considers his next steps as this is his second chance to pursue his dream of creating games. He still refuses. She respects his decision and gives him a flash disc with the game she has already created before departing. After returning home, Kiyoya listens to the game's title theme and experiences nostalgia. Previously, he worked in the game industry without a budget for a sound mixer, forcing him to learn sound engineering on his own. He recalls the challenges, learnings, and late nights, and then it hits him. He hurries inside Nanako's chamber, where she is still brooding in silence. When she refuses to open the door, he plays audio of her singing that has been corrected for pitch difficulties with sound tools. He gently reminds her of her tremendous potential and encourages her to pursue her dreams, even if others do not perceive them. The door slowly opens, and she stands there teary-eyed, thanking him and expressing her readiness to start singing seriously. He encourages her to succeed and assures her that he will support her throughout the process. As the school anniversary approaches, Kiyoya and Neko plan to spend quality time together. As they walk, he recalls how she pledged to focus on her singing. She has been working hard under the tutelage of a music senior, learning from scratch and boosting her stamina via daily exercise. She wonders if their efforts will be worthwhile. I wonder what awaits her at the end of this route. He reassures her not to overthink things, especially since she is only starting to pursue her passion. When she questions why he is assisting her, he simply says that he wants her to succeed based on her performance. She expresses her thanks by hugging him, stating that no one has ever assisted her in such a way. However, the situation rapidly becomes awkward as she flushes and withdraws, cautioning him not to overreact to her sudden display of devotion. Kiyoya observes his pals working hard for their roles in the festival and wonders if his journey back in time is to help them achieve their aspirations. On the school anniversary, the campus changes into a lively carnival featuring booths, indie film screenings, art exhibitions, and music festivals. Hikawa gives Kiyoya a ticket to a period picture he acted in and insists on seeing it. Kiyoya enters Takashi's maid club, only to find the girls dressed in outfits that appear to have been stolen from his browsing history. He gawks at them like a filthy teenager. Tommy asks if he enjoys the free performance. He apologizes, embarrassed, and wonders why she is participating. She says they were short on volunteers, so she went in before Kai and asked whether she was good in the attire. Before he can respond, Takashi interrupts and declares her perfect. The cafe quickly attracts a swarm of largely male customers who are drawn to it for more than simply coffee. While the girls take orders and serve, Kiyoya manages the kitchen. Thank you for watching to this point. This is not the end. For part 2, don't forget to like and subscribe. We got other interesting anime recaps for you. Choose the left or the right video.